First up, we have approval of the agenda, and before we start, I'd like to move item D under committee items, the clerk's biannual report, to following the drain commissioner report, K. Amanda's serving dual duties as recording clerk and clerk this morning, so with that, if we could have an approval of the modified agenda.
So moved.
Motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Public comments. You have 5 minutes, public, to speak. Step up to the microphone. No public comment. Moving on, committee items, the minutes of the September 8, 2014 meeting. Looking for a motion? We're short on votes here, so it's going to be a voting block. Motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next up are the appointments. The Region 2 Planning Commission is still vacant. We'll continue to advertise that. The Land Bank Authority, it's the former seat of Denise Butler. The two applicants are Todd Britton and Jim Spink, and Jim Spink is the Township Supervisor's recommendation. Julie?
I'll nominate Jim Spink, please.
And we have a new voting member. Any additional nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Jim Spink's name will be forwarded to the full board. Human Services, current member is Brad Williams. He's the only applicant. Motion and support. Any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Brad's name will be forwarded. If we can do this next group together, it's the remonumentation peer group. There are 5 seats. There are 5 applicants, being David Erickson, Alan Scheppelman, Michael Lodzinski, Ron Lester, and Ron Enger.
Motion to move those 5 names to the full board, please.
Motion and support. Any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Those 5 names will be forwarded to the full board. Next up is the Register of Deeds biannual report, and I think Mona from the back pew.
Good morning. I'm here to give you an update on what's going on in the Register of Deeds office. So far this year, we'll be making some budget adjustments. We're not seeing the year we had last year, unfortunately. We've seen a decrease in the recordings, but on a up note, county transfer tax we've seen an increase. We're seeing in the way of less recordings. Last year we had a lot more refi, mortgages type of things. This year we are seeing more deed sales, and they're good sales. So county transfer tax is we're going to probably even increase what we budgeted for this year because it's picked up so greatly. On other revenues, we might have to make some budget adjustments on a decrease side just because the activities, we haven't seen as many. Oil is picking up, and in mortgages some are, but we just aren't having the numbers we had last year. We are doing well, but not as well as last year, budget-wise. Our recordings, like I said, were about 3,500 less than last year at this time. Mortgage foreclosures, though, sheriff's deeds, we have 285 through September, which is 101 less than 2013, and 330 less than 2012. And I broke them down in townships and attached, if anyone wants to see how their townships are doing. You couldn't hear me? A Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac update. We've kept you informed all along about the lawsuits that Fannie Mae filed claiming an exemption from transfer tax. And I had told you how the U.S. District Court ruled in favor of the counties and we required them to pay transfer tax, even though the exemption was stated. Then Fannie Mae appealed to the Sixth Circuit Court, and they issued their opinion reversing the decision. We tried to get an appeal to the Supreme Court, but we were denied. So where we are now is, we've kept records of all the conveyance where we did collect the transfer tax in the event that we lost this appeal, and we were ordered to refund in the future. Well, we've lost the appeal, but per our attorney's opinion, they must provide all the documentation, and the only letter I received to date was documents that were recorded that we did not collect transfer tax on. They were sheriff's deeds. These that we were told to collect transfer tax on were deeds where they were the seller and they were selling bank-owned property. So they haven't notified me of any of the ones on my list. And until they do, our attorney says that they must do all the work. Don't offer them, any assistance that they provide for me, the documents that we charged on, and we'll refund it. And they have a 4-year statute of limitations, and we started this in 2012.
On a ballpark, how much would it be if we did have to pay it back, if you know?
$22,800 or $22,681.16. But like I said, it was real confusing when they sent the letter to Karen. The documents, they stated there were 8 of them, and they were sheriff's deeds. We didn't collect transfer tax on sheriff's deeds. These were deeds where they were the seller selling out the bank-owned property to individuals that they were claiming they were exempt. So until we hear from anything, I'll keep you informed, but I haven't heard anything else other than the first letter. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about our staff. I have 1 senior clerk and 2 imaging clerks and a casual, myself and Amanda, the register. Both of my data imaging clerks have less than a year on the job. Tina started in May, but she had worked in the registrar's office for 4 years back in 2006 to 2010, and Jessica started in September. This job requires a lot of knowledge. It takes us a good year to train an employee with the state recording requirements, the statutes for all the different type of documents we record, how to assist a customer when they come in researching property and looking up documents and helping them. And I'm proud of my staff, and I just wanted to let you know that I get with 2, with less than a year on 2 of them and 4, I think, on my senior clerk. We're really fortunate that we have the dedicated staff that we do. Also, in automation, to give you an update, at the end of 2012, online, we had available all the way back to 1800, all deeds and miscellaneous records. At the end of this current project, all of our documents will be available online back to the 1800s, including mortgages, discharges, and assignment of mortgages. They have approximately 245 more images that they'll be scanning and that they're working on uploading into the system right now. After this project, the next one would probably take more than a couple of years. We'd like all of our track index books scanned and uploaded for online searching. And also, all of this is a form of disaster recovery. Something we've been excited about also is e-recordings. We've been e-recording treasurer's documents. We started back in 2012. We started with certificate of forfeitures. 2013, we added redemption certificates. 2014, we added notice of judgment foreclosures. Out of their recordings, we recorded through September 3,926. But as of July 15th, we began e-recording from outside sources, which are banks, attorneys, and we're e-recording all document types, excluding any conveyances, like land contracts, deeds that require tax certifications at this time. But as of September 30th, excluding the Treasurer's e-recordings, from outside sources, we recorded 504, e-recorded 504 documents. Our kiosk or Q-Flow reporting, we've served 4,415 customers with tickets, which mean they come in to record a document, purchase a copy, they've got questions, they want to search, they want to use our track system. And we've served about 750 non-ticket customers, which means UPS, FedEx, title companies that drop off anywhere from 5 to 25 recordings at a time. Other than that, that's about my update. Any questions?
When are you going to talk about the oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question, Julie? Go ahead.
Thank you. Mona, what kind of experiences, either positive or negative, are you having with the e-recordings in regard to technology, software, computer-wise?
It's all positive. Everyone's excited about that. The turnaround time on an e-recording, I mean, they submit it to us, it's recorded, they get it right back.
So no technological problems, issues with
Haven't
the...
had any, not at all. It's just fantastic.
Thank you.
Mona, did I miss you talking about the sheriff's deeds or not? I see that's in there too, or maybe I'm
Yes.
getting ahead of you.
Yes, I did
Okay.
talk about them.
Okay.
Did you have a
Very good.
question?
Nope.
Oh.
Any other? Julie?
So in regard to the sheriff deeds, then, I was trying to jot down some numbers. So in 2012, there were 301,
330
330.
less, no, we're at 330 less than we were in 2012. We're 101 less than we were in 2013.
Okay.
I don't have the yearly totals with me. I can get those for you, but we are dropping. Every year we've dropped, and it was significant between 2012 and 2013.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you for the breakdown on the townships also. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mona. Moving on to the equalization report. Joe? I didn't know you guys had done that. Working on good for you.
Do we have any questions on the equalization report? Do we have any questions concerning the equalization report? Do you guys all have it?
You
Okay.
do have it. It's, I think, 2 documents, isn't it? Yep. Pretty standard document, has to be filed by the township with us, or with you by a certain date. Everybody has filed this year on time, correct? All the townships? did?
Yes, they're all in. Now they are.
I'm sorry.
They are
They are
in.
now?
Yes, they are.
I thought I saw a note in the document that said everybody had filed on time, so.
Yep, we got them. Some of them were running late, but we got them all.
Okay, so we'll be looking to forward this on to the full board for approval. Any questions, first of all? Motion and support, questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
South Central Michigan Works. Mike Jones.
Good morning. I'd like to begin this morning thanking this board for giving us the opportunity to present, and I'd also like to thank those commissioners who serve on our board. We really appreciate all your efforts. I'm going to give you the highlights this morning of South Central Michigan Works. As you know, we're one of 24, not 25, Michigan Works agencies in the state of Michigan, as Calhoun and Kalamazoo have now merged, so we've been reduced to 24 across the state. Since I met with you in April, there has been some movement at the federal level. Some of you may know that the Workforce Investment Act of 1998 was reauthorized. It's now called the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act. And what that'll essentially do is stabilize our funding. So we're really happy to have that finally done and not being continued in a continuing resolution as they've done over the years. So we're really proud of the legislature in getting that passed. Non-farm payrolls remain in Jackson County at $54,500. You're looking at unemployment at 7.7%. We are trending downward, but we're not trending as well as our sister cities to the west, Battle Creek and Kalamazoo. They're experiencing a 6.6% unemployment rate. So we're moving in the right direction, but not as fast as they are. Transportation government jobs rose by 200 in the August timeframe, but we lost 200 manufacturing jobs in Jackson County. You may be aware that just to the west of us, a couple blocks, we lost a company called Chelsea Grinding. They didn't announce to their employees they're going to be closing. They moved all their equipment to Tennessee over a weekend. We had to go in and work with their workers. They displaced 20 workers. So we're seeing things like that. We're also currently working with another company that's just been put into receivership. That's probably one of the least desirable aspects of my job, but it's one that has to be done. Jobs filled since July 1st. Our program year runs July 1st to June 30th. We've filled 171 jobs in our Tri-County area. We've served 4,614 individuals. We've had total visits 11,045. Those are individuals to come into our centers and use our computers, but don't necessarily engage with our employees because they're not required to do that. They can come in and use our equipment, and that's fine. And the employers that we've served to date is 181. The thing I think that this board really needs to be aware of is, one, regionalization. Any efforts that you can help us out with regarding the prosperity regions, we're part of Region 9 right now, which we really like. We enjoy that collaboration that we have with Livingston, Monroe, and Washtenaw counties. But if we get merged with Region 10, we'll probably fail to show up on some maps. I'm going to be honest with you. We are going to get swallowed up by the Wayne, Macomb, Oakland County area. So whatever assistance you folks can provide us, we'd really appreciate that. And I just, once again, I want to reiterate, our partnership with Washtenaw, Monroe, and Livingston is great. We have a regional meeting this Thursday. We get along very well. We share lessons learned with each other. It cannot be a stronger collaboration, and it's been one that's been very welcome to us. But the Region 10-9 merger, and if the governor gets reelected, it looks like that's the direction they want to go. That could really present some problems for us. So I just want to make you aware of that. The last thing I want to talk about this morning is what's called the Skilled Trades Training Fund. It is a fund that was developed by the state of Michigan last October. There was the first trial year. $10 million are available for hard skills training. The top 4 in-demand jobs in my area are welders, CNC operators, CNC programmers, and maintenance technicians. This training fund is really designed to upgrade the skills of those individuals who work in that type of occupation. Currently, I have 5 applications submitted to the state of Michigan for companies here in Jackson County. Last year, we did not receive any money. It wasn't because we didn't submit any applications, none were approved. This year, we have 5 submitted, of which 2 have already been approved. So I think that really speaks well to upgrading the skills here in Jackson County and maintaining that manufacturing base, which is really, the stronghold of Jackson County. Not that other occupations aren't important, but those are base jobs that really help our local economy. So to the extent that we can get those submitted and get those approved, I think it's really going to be a good thing for our companies here in Jackson. I'd entertain any questions this board has.
Commissioners?
If not,
Dave?
Chelsea Grinding, did they have offices in Dexter also, or is that just?
I believe they did. Commissioner, one of the things we didn't realize at first, we had employees coming in saying, they just announced that we're going to be closing. We're Chelsea Grinding, and we weren't aware that they were actually right here on the west side of Jackson. We thought it was in Chelsea, and we said, well, you can come to our centers, that's fine. But the more we engaged them in conversation, we found out they were a Jackson concern. And so we immediately got on top of that, and we found out that they were notified, basically with very short notice. Semi showed up, moved all the equipment to Tennessee. They came into our centers, and we did the best we could to transition them back into the, into reemployment. But it's unfortunate when you have a situation like that, because there's so many things we can do, bringing the unemployment insurance agency together, human services together. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do in advance of that. And if employers are just aware of that, I think it would make that process for those individuals much more seamless, because it is a very traumatic time. And as I looked at the group that I was working with, it looked like they had a lot of seasoned employees. So hopefully we will be able to get them reemployed, but I don't know their current status at this time. But I think they did have a satellite office there, yes. Commissioner?
Commissioner Duckham?
Good morning, Mike.
Morning.
I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but there's getting to be a shortage of commercial truck drivers. Is there anything that South Central is doing to train people on this, or I know they're predicting a 1 million driver shortage in 2 years nationwide.
We're actually looking at training programs because we're getting a lot of requests for flatbed truckers and truckers all across. The issue we have right now, and I think everybody in this room is aware of it, you have a lot of baby boomers who are retiring right now, 10,000 every day, and this is going to continue on for the next 10 years. We're losing a lot of those skilled workers that we had in the past. Commercial truck drivers, as I said, maintenance technicians, CNC programmers, welders. You know, we're really scrambling right now to try to find workers. You know, you hear, that, where's the jobs? We have jobs. There's over 30,000 jobs right now on Michigan Talent Connect. We can't find workers. That's our problem. And we don't know where they're at. But yeah, we are trying to engage folks and develop training programs for commercial truckers and so on. But the problem is right now finding people to do that.
That's what we're experiencing at Modern Waste, is we're having to really scramble to find people that want to work.
Right.
That has the qualifications. There's been some insurance regulations come down that's eliminated some people, and several different factors there. But and I ended up talking to the other haulers in the county, and they're all having the same problem.
Right. Yeah, I'm working with a couple trucking companies in Hillsdale County because that's where my principal office is right now. I can't find the drivers. I can't find workers.
We train within, so.
Yeah, and most do. The other thing, and this will be my parting shot to the board this morning, some of these individuals coming in to the workplace today have really no understanding of what it's like to go to work. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. It's like, not only do I have to find people that are eligible, I have to find people that are suitable. And I mean, granted, I was recently working with a large manufacturing company down in Hillsdale, international company, and they had 7 individuals who were eligible to get their journeyman's card, and the company was willing to pay for it, okay? 1 person applied. And I said, I must not have been just born in another generation. I must have been born in another world. If somebody came to me when I was 20 and said, look, I'll pay for your journeyman's, okay, apprenticeship, I would have said, where do I sign? Nobody wanted to do it. They can't get people to commit to it. That's the struggle Michigan Works right now, particularly South Central Michigan Works and some others are facing.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Julie?
I think addressing Mike's issue, though, in the big picture, South Central Michigan Works has an excellent presence in our community.
Thank you.
They sit at the table at the Cradle to Career Initiative. They're very involved with our local schools and superintendents. They are there now serving on our Jackson County Economic and Workforce Development Committee with Sarah, their CEO, sitting on that. So they are out there, they have a presence, and their services are very valuable and needed in our community, so I commend you for that.
Well, thank you for your kind words. Appreciate it. Thanks again.
Moving on to the J.C. abandonment of Woodville Road on the airport property. And I see Joe Michalski in the audience. Pretty straightforward, Joe.
Yeah, this is a continuation. Last year we abandoned the gravel portion of Woodville Road, and I was going to let Captain Maurer speak on behalf of his own road, but so we're just going to continue. It's going to start at 200 foot north of the railroad right away and then continue up to the end of the paved portion where it meets the gravel. And then Kent said that after construction of the airport runways and all the work is done, then they'll finish up the abandonment of the rest of Woodville Road. So there's going to be a part 3 coming, who knows when, maybe another year, maybe longer.
Ken, I believe this needs to go to the full board, so we'd be looking for a motion. Motion and support. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thanks, Joe. Economic Development Corporation Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. Amy Torres with a short part of the agenda.
We didn't want you to get bored. Good morning, everyone. Start out with the EDC report. I think the report that Debbie sent you was pretty comprehensive. We do have quite a bit of money that we hope to get loaned out. It's been a little difficult in the last year and a half to get that money loaned out, but we did just receive an application for $160,000, which I'm working on a loan write-up for currently. Our portfolio includes 43 loans, $4.2 million, and that's leveraged $47.3 million. We want to make sure that you use the link in the report and check out your new partner page on the EG's website, because that's a new addition that we just launched a couple weeks ago. Debbie worked very hard on that. And I think that's the highlights of the report. Are there any questions?
Commissioners, any questions? Hearing none.
Thank you. On the Brownfield report, actually, most of what's in that, we're going to be going over for the Brownfield plans. Other than the programmatic activities, I just wanted to bring your attention that we do have a procedure in place now where we work with the local assessors and supervisors and treasurers to collect the tax increments that are then refunded per the Brownfield plans. And so for the summer of 2014 tax revenues, we collected $8,450.87. And then that is redistributed to the entities depending on the Brownfield plans and the amounts that are to be reimbursed. Those are the Brownfield plans that you look at those schedules, and every year when the tax increment is collected, then it is returned both to the Jackson County Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for programmatic expenses, and then also to the units of government or not the units of government, excuse me, the developers on the particular projects. So for instance, for the Clavon's second restaurant, we are just in the process of reviewing the request for the total of eligible reimbursements. That goes through our consultant, and then once we determine that all of those are eligible expenses, those are then reimbursed over time when the tax increment is collected. Are there any questions on that report? And like I said, Zimmer Marble payments are current as of now also. And U.S. EPA assessment grant guidelines should be released soon, and we will be pursuing an application again. We have not been successful in the last couple of years. We've had debriefings, and one of the areas where we're hoping to get increased participation is through the citizen involvement, community involvement, when we talk to the community and neighborhood groups and so forth about potential brownfield plans in the application. So we hope to ramp that up. Any questions? Okay. Do you want me to go on, Mr. Chair?
You've got the
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we have two brownfield plans on the agenda, and these both have been in the works for quite some time. The Acme Brownfield Plan is first. That's the Acme site where the buildings were demolished. And the JCBRA was able to obtain a lot of assessment funding. We've been to you before with various reports and so forth, but we're now at the point where the Brownfield Plan has been prepared. It's been approved by the Brownfield Authority. It's also gone to City Council and got their consent resolution approved, which means we are now coming to the County Commission at your October 21st meeting to request approval of that Brownfield Plan. The Brownfield Plan was prepared with a conceptual development, and the Enterprise Group Board has directed us to complete a request for information on that site, so we're in the process of doing that. Ultimately, if we get a developer in tow, which will hopefully be the result of that request for information, some of the parameters of the Brownfield Plan may change, and hopefully it would maybe be an additional investment to what we've already anticipated in there. If that's the case, we would go through an amendment process if it's significantly different than what it is now. But we do look for approval this year so we can get the tax base set, and then would come back for amendments if necessary. Any questions?
Amy, you need a motion to send this to the full board, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay. Dave? Motion and support. Questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Thank you. Great Lakes Fern Industries, or Fern Ventures LLC Brownfield Plan is another plan that targets what has been a high priority brownfield site in every single EPA application that we've ever submitted, and that's the Harvard Industries site. Great Lakes Industries purchased that building, and it's a very exciting project. It was because they ran out of space in their facility and needed more room to expand. They've already installed some machinery and equipment in there. It's working out really well. They're cleaning up the building. If you've gone by, you'll notice that a lot of brush has been cleaned up. It's being painted. Huge improvements there. So again, that brownfield process has gone through JCBRA approval and also Blackman Township approval this past Monday night with their consent resolution, and will be coming to the October 21st meeting for final approval of the brownfield plan.
Questions of commissioners? If not, we'd be looking for a motion. Motion and support. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And I neglected to mention, of course, Debbie Kelly's here, but Brad Runkle, one of our JCBRA board members that works at Consumers Energy, is here, and I just wanted to introduce him. I really appreciated him attending today.
I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you introduced him. We had him pegged for a reporter.
He wasn't taking notes. Those are extinct.
Next up, we have the Drain Commissioner's annual report. I don't see Jeff here, but the report's in the packet. Maybe Mike could answer any questions if anybody has any. Well, you are the administrator, correct? Commissioners of the report from anybody? Okay. We'll move on to the clerk's report.
Just click out of it.
Don't close it. Just
I mean, like,
escape.
okay. Good morning, everyone. Well, as you know, over the last probably 3 or 4 times that I've presented, I've spoken about OnBase and how we've been preparing for implementing that in our office. We finally reached that date on September 3rd, and I will say that it has been one of the most challenging projects that I've ever gone through. Because it is a customized program, there is testing and testing and testing, which is a good thing. But at the time that we implemented, we had one of our full-time employees leave our office for a higher paying job, so that obviously left us at a disadvantage. We didn't have an adequate scanner at that time. It was basically just a desktop scanner, and with the amount of documents that we bring into our office, we became swamped immediately. Basically day one. We just had stacks and stacks and stacks around us. We also had some issues, with all due respect to our IT department, and I don't mean to blame them. It is because of the lack of staff that they have, as Commissioner Duckham and I believe Commissioner Alexander mentioned at Friday's study session. I believe that we are at a point within this county that we cannot continue to move forward with any technology until we put forward more staff in the IT department. It's that critical. We have had a lot of support from ImageSoft, which it's gotten us to this point, and I believe our IT is thankful for that, just because they are overwhelmed themselves with dealing with our project, which also means that the prosecutor's office and the front of the court that are already up on OnBase need to be upgraded. They have the new financial system that they're bringing up. I mean, you all as commissioners are aware of the technology that the county is moving forward, and if we, in my opinion, do not have the staff to support that, it's going to be very difficult, and frustrations are going to continue. I'm just speaking from experience. So I'm very thankful for Donald Bustamante's support, Aaron Boyle's support. They have done a great job. They've come to our rescue many times, but again, they, with all of the other projects that are going on, can only do so much. So that's my plea to you, that this is something that really needs to be paid attention to, and I really think we could use more than just one new employee there. And I realize budget is an issue, but again, if we're going to move forward, that's where we need to put our money. So with that, our staff in the clerk's office has been wonderful. We've had to work a lot of extra hours, comp time, to get caught up. We were able to get a new scanner thanks to the help of Mr. Bustamante. It's a fantastic scanner. It's a commercial grade. Takes the documents through like that. So that has helped us to get caught up, and we're staying caught up. We've had to pull some of our employees off of the program and kind of just narrow it down a little bit so we can focus on training our other employee and handle the customers, the workflow there. But I think we're at a point now where we're managing pretty well. Our post-go live support period is, I believe, we're in our last week. So after that, it's going to be a different experience for us. We will be dealing with our own IT. And instead of having a dedicated person with ImageSoft to work with, we will be going through the support desk. I have been told by Aaron Boyles that he has had a positive experience dealing with them when he's had to deal with them with other departments. So I'm hoping that will be the same for us as we move forward. So with that, that's our experience with OnBase. I'll move on to jury now. To date, we have completed 31 trials. Some of them have been quite lengthy. We had one civil trial that was 20 days long, and now granted that was some half days here, half days there, but they're still paid the same. We had one big cold case that lasted 6 days, and we've had several other capital criminal cases that lasted 5 to 7 days. I know that they're calling in jurors this morning for at least one, maybe 2 trials today. So it's been a very busy year in our jury office. We are moving along with the software upgrade, another project or program that IT is having to deal with. We're hoping to get that up by the end of this year, which, again, as you are aware, will allow jurors to be able to do a lot of the functions online instead of dealing with the office in person or mailing in the documents. And Jackie and I also attended a seminar workshop last week at the State Court Administrator's Office regarding jury utilization. So we are going to be able to prepare some reports and get those to the judges so they can understand how bringing in jurors, how we can do it more efficiently and cost effectively. So that's something we'll be working on. And we're also planning to move to a one-step process, meaning instead of sending out, like we do now, a questionnaire, getting that back, and then summoning jurors, we will do it all in one step, which will save money, and we're hoping that it will be less of an inconvenience for the jurors themselves, because it will be a shorter time frame instead of being questioned or getting a questionnaire and then maybe waiting 5 to 7 months before they get summoned. It'll all happen within probably 6 weeks. So that's all we have in jury. As you know, we have the big November election coming up. We're preparing for that. All is well. And then our next project that we'll be moving into is our remodel. We did postpone that last year so we could get it to the end of this year because of the 911 remodel and relocation. So it's kind of, we're getting prepared for it. We all have our eyes on the goal. We know that it's going to be fantastic once it's finished. The efficiency of the office is going to be changed dramatically, the workflow for the customers. But that means that our office will be completely relocating. We are talking with facilities right now, hoping to schedule another meeting this week. We're planning to move to the emergency measures conference room and where central dispatch is moving from. So there's a lot to figure out there. Not only our office, meaning court services, vitals, and myself and Carrie Ann and Carrie, and elections, we'll also have probate court in with us. So we have to figure out how we're going to have our customers coming in and, just the workflow there. So there's a lot going on in the clerk's office. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Well, Amanda, first, thanks for the hard work of all the staff. Sounds like you got a lot going on, so
We do, thank you.
awesome task. Commissioners? Julie?
Mr. Chair, I'm wondering, my question wouldn't necessarily be for Amanda. It would be if at your pleasure, you would be willing to let our IT director stand and address, because he is in the audience, if we could just ask our IT director as a follow-up to her comments, a question?
Don, come on up.
So Don, I guess my question to you would simply be, what are your concerns as IT director and possible solutions or strategies in dealing with some of the issues that have been mentioned?
Excellent. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address these issues. When I first came on board as IT director, I initiated a 360-degree review process of the department. This involved visiting every department that used our services, as well as private one-on-one meetings with departmental staff. During this process, it became clear that there were a number of issues that needed to be addressed. One of the issues was relating to level of staffing. Another issue related to management of projects, basically the process of planning, organizing, coordinating, and executing projects. We have a number of projects that are outsourced to vendors. And in that process, I discovered that I needed to require the vendors to create a project plan for everything that was being done for us. This plan involves a specific scope of work, milestones, deliverables, timelines, and costing. As part of this process, I have mandated that all projects within the department utilize project management techniques as published by the Project Management Institute. This involves a very formalized methodology for planning, organizing, and coordinating these projects. Another thing that has been done, particularly with regard to the OnBase project, is engagement with the vendors at various levels. In the case of OnBase, I've escalated the OnBase issues all the way to technical directors and directors of customer support. In this process, I have discovered that there are some changes that will be made in outsourced work that the department is involved in. Specifically, we'll be changing from a fixed level of effort approach in which the vendors agree to provide services to a firm fixed price arrangement where the vendors will have to provide milestones, deliverables, and certified project managers to engage in this process. The other thing that came out as a result of my review is that there were a number of projects in-house within the department that were running late, and some of the ripple effects of that, for example, our virtualization and our SAN projects, ran late, so that bumped into the scheduling for, in this case, OnBase, and that process had some ripple effects. I've reviewed many of the in-house processes, and we're currently converting over to a more formalized methodology consistent with industry best practice. Our ultimate goal will be to implement elements of what's called ITIL, the Information Technology Infrastructure Library, which is a collection of industry best practices designed at optimizing execution and flow of processes within the department. In the meantime, I have been working with vendors, and all vendors that we're working with have been asked to submit project plans. I had one vendor that had their project plan rejected because it didn't have the necessary quantifiables of timelines and milestones. Internal to the department, we are initiating a process of education and training for the staff. Project management has been mandated for the staff. We've had a number of meetings with regards to techniques of project management, which will continue. And we also have identified a software tool that allows implementation of project management as part of the planning process. Along with that, I'm also working to make the necessary changes within the department to convert from the current status to a more streamlined process involving the use of enterprise-level tools and training to provide staff with the knowledge and perspective to understand information technology at the higher level and be able to address issues basically proactively rather than reactively.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions? And I'm sure Mr. Bustamante continue to work with our administrator and the department, so very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Okay, although it wasn't noted on the Drain Commissioner's annual report, that needs to be sent to the full board for review, and I see the Drain Commissioner has arrived. If commissioners have any questions of the report, Jeff would probably gladly entertain them. Or Jeff, if you have any comments.
Good morning. Remember last year, Dave indicated he read it from cover to cover, which was quite a feat. Has been out and available. Is there any questions on the report itself or the activities of the office?
Only 61 pages, you said, Mike? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'd be looking for a motion to send it on to the full Board of Commissioners.
Support.
Motion and support. Questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that takes us down to the claims. Motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Other minutes, Parks and Rec Commission minutes are there, the November reporting schedule, and it takes us back to public comments. And the crowd has thinned. Committee member comments. All is well, must be. We are adjourned.